Hi, Vaush. First time commentating. I'm wondering about something. Would it be possible to flip Nazis to the left by showing them their view of how Jews are the evil in control? It's just them being played by the actual people in control, which are just the modern day rich elite? No, because they think the Jews are the modern day rich elite. You're making the mistake of thinking that Nazis base their beliefs on a set of structured, logical suppositions that follow from one another, as opposed to like a deeply rooted feeling of hatred and anxiety and fear that they've built out into a set of conspiracy theories. You can't logically substitute these views because you're thinking it's like a logical structure when it's a tangled mess, you know? If that makes any sense. You have to be, this is one of the things that a lot of lefties fall for this, where they think, man, these people are so close to radicalization. They think that like corporate elites are fucking them over and the coastal elites are controlling American culture to keep the little man down. It's like, okay, the belief that you're getting screwed over by a higher power is pretty consistent, ideology to ideology, time period and place, whatever. Like, that's pretty consistent. What matters is the root logic, the underlying belief. And unfortunately, in this respect, Nazis have nothing in common with us. Nothing at all. Because there's no systemic analysis. There's no systemic character to their assessment of why this is happening. They say the Jews are doing this because they're evil or whatever. There's no processing of this information in a way that would allow you to substitute in a systematic cause or explainer, you know? Otherwise, like, it'd be like, well, why don't racists have their minds changed when you show that criminality is a socioeconomic phenomena and not innately racially determined, right? Like, it's really easy to do that. Why is that? Why does that not change their mind? Why are right-wingers so insistent on the belief that IQ is innate and racial when we know for an absolute fact that IQ can be influenced by environment? If that's the case, then how could you... If IQ can be influenced by environment, how are you measuring a person's innate intelligence? You're not. You're measuring, in many cases, their level of education. Which is different. That's different from innate intelligence. Then it's not innate. You're not actually targeting the thing. We know we have ways of measuring education. That's every test ever in school. Anyway, sorry, just a little rant. I see what you mean. Yeah, don't worry. It's a very good question. It's a very good question. But I think that understanding the root of the irrationality is essential. It's not about the arguments Nazis use. Nazis don't believe in the arguments they use. They don't believe in truth. And I mean that sincerely. I don't mean that and I say like, oh, they lie. No, they do lie and they know they lie. They don't believe in empiricism. The belief in empiricism, the belief that you can structure things out logically and that there's value in doing so, that is not innate at all. Most of human history, people didn't think that way. You think people were applying the scientific method to like rain dances to bring more, more water down for their crops or whatever? No. People do things on faith. They do things on feeling. And that's kind of how we are innately. That's how every other animal is. We have to work our way out of that, right? You have to build towards thinking of things logically. And Nazis are ideologically anti-empiricist, meaning that Nazis believe in things like, now, how do I put this? The pursuit of power for them is more valuable than the belief that there is a singular truth or a consistent narrative that should be adhered to, if that makes any sense. Ultimately, their beliefs are guided not by any perceived value of truth, but by a feeling they have, or a series of feelings: fear, anxiety, persecution, in many cases, sexual frustration. You know, you go and you find all the Nazis out there. These are not people with stable, happy love lives. They're just not. They are not even close. It's usually men. Men are a lot more vulnerable to this language. Exactly, Benjamin. They think facts aren't something that corresponds to reality, but rather a weapon to be used in service of gaining power. Vaush, I recently happened to see an old video of yours where you said that most people, even neo-Nazis, ultimately have the same axioms as you. They just misunderstand the way the world works. Do you not believe that anymore? No, I still do, even if they would disagree with it. I think that on a fundamental level, most Nazis still think they are building towards the a goal of increasing happiness for people. I genuinely think that. I really, really do. Some of them are deliberately malicious, but I think that most people believe in building a better future. And I think, because for a lot of Nazis, they don't think they're the aggressor. They think that the world is already a zero-sum game where different factions split by nationality and race are already competing for their resources, and that the world would be the best possible place if their group won, but it's not a fight they're starting. It's a fight that they want to finish. They think it's a fight that they're currently losing because Jewish or progressive immigration policies are weakening the West by allowing black and brown people in, but we're not exactly flooding, Cameroon with white people. Obviously, this is nonsensical, but it is what they believe. But I still think that I don't think they're supervillains. I don't think they wake up. Vaush always kicks indigenous people when he wants to point to ignorance. Rain dances don't work. Okay. I mean, neither do ritual sacrifices. There are plenty of things that people used to do that don't work. I'm not arguing this. Anyway, I don't believe in the supervillain mentality. I don't believe in the idea like, oh, Hitler or whatever Nazi, that they wake up and they believe in doing evil. I don't think that's the case. Maybe for some of them, but I don't think that's the case, Keep in mind when I talk about this, I am talking about ordinary people, ordinary Nazis, in the sense that they're not politicians or media figures. Nazi media figures are almost always deliberately, purposefully malicious. Same with like Republican politicians, I'm talking about the fascist or the Nazi or the conservative or the reactionary who is just trying to live their life and also has these beliefs, not about somebody whose livelihood is built on propagating these beliefs. Those people are not just anti-empiricist, they are malicious liars and usually don't care about anything. Except for the propagation of power, usually their own.